Imagine this. You're living 7,000 years ago. You've got a headache. A really, really bad one. The doctor walks in. He picks up a sharp piece of flint, and he says, "Don't worry, I'm just going to scrape a hole into your skull." This was a real medical procedure. It's called trepanation, and it is officially the oldest surgery in human history, going back at least 10,000 years. Here's how it worked. No anesthesia, no sterilization, just a steady hand, a sharp rock, and a patient who was, presumably, having the worst day of their entire life. Some doctors scraped the bone away bit by bit. Some carved a circle and popped the piece out like a bottle cap. Some drilled a ring of tiny holes and just chiseled out the middle. Casual Tuesday. Now, you'd assume almost nobody survived this. Skull meet rock. What could possibly go right? Except, a lot of people actually did survive. Archaeologists can tell because the bone around the hole shows healing. Smooth, rounded edges, which means the patient didn't just survive the surgery. They lived for months, sometimes years afterward. Some skulls even show multiple trepanation holes, meaning some people went through this more than once, and came back for round 2, voluntarily, presumably still complaining about headaches. Peru turns out to be the undisputed world champion of skull drilling. Archaeologists have found over 10,000 trepanned skulls there, more than the rest of the world combined. During the Inca Empire, survival rates got as high as 75 to 90%. Now here's the part that should not be true, but is completely true. 19th century field surgeons during the American Civil War, doing skull surgery with actual metal tools and some understanding of anatomy, only had about a 50% survival rate. So somehow, ancient surgeons with a rock and pure vibes were outperforming trained doctors with actual medical training a few hundred years ago. Somewhere, an Incan surgeon is looking down at us, unimpressed. And this wasn't just an ancient thing that disappeared. The Greek physician Hippocrates actually wrote detailed instructions for how to do it properly, telling surgeons to dip their tools in cold water and move slowly so they didn't damage what was underneath. Very reassuring, very specific, still terrifying. Medieval European doctors kept doing it too, mostly to treat epilepsy, based on the belief that it let trapped air or evil spirits escape through the hole. Which is certainly one way to explain a headache. And here's the part that will really mess with you. The Kisii people in Kenya still perform trepanation today for head injuries, using modern local anesthetic beforehand. Studies have recorded survival rates around 95%. Basically, better odds than showing up to some hospitals. So why did ancient people even do this in the first place? Sometimes it was for actual head injuries, cracked skulls that needed relief. Sometimes it was to treat conditions like epilepsy or mental illness. And sometimes, honestly, we're still not entirely sure. Which is a very unsettling sentence to say out loud about brain surgery. So next time you have a headache and you reach for a painkiller, just remember, somebody, thousands of years ago, reached for a rock and somehow made it work. Repeatedly, on purpose. Would you have survived ancient skull surgery? Let me know in the comments. Subscribe for more real ancient human history every week.